Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Wow. Thank you. Can just wave actually. As I'm inviting the speakers. Rahim. Oh, hi. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to be here. Hope you are. Hope you are.
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me properly?
Hi. I'm
You can hear
just inviting other speakers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nothing. Uh, who else? Architect Mugura. Uh, Let me check something first.
Okay, okay.
You can you can actually start asking questions. Rahema is here already in the live. You can interact with her before all of our speakers join in. You can also tell us who are you celebrating today and why is
Oh,
this day important to you? Yeah.
oh yeah. Um, for me, this is actually an interesting International Women's Day because I didn't realize it's a big day until when I'm joining um Instagram later in the evening. That's when I'm seeing everyone was blasting and blasting International Women's Day, even on WhatsApp. Like, oh, I didn't celebrate it as I should have. But today I do celebrate my mom. She's played a
Mm-hmm.
very, very big role in my life. She
Okay.
keeps supporting me. Even here, just before I joined this, she's like, "Oh, go have fun. Go have so much fun. All the best." Like, mom, it's an energy. Like, okay.
Wow.
But yeah, she keeps supporting me, and I look up to her in so many ways. So yeah, I do celebrate her. And my elder sister, she's called Gloria. Um,
Mhm.
she's literally watched me grow. She's been
Wow.
the one can count on from since I was a toddler. The one person who's
Mm-hmm.
been in my life, apart from my parents, since I was a little kid till today, and she keeps supporting me. So yeah, those two are my
Oh, wow.
biggest. Um, yeah, I'm celebrating this win a huge way today. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
Plus also the
um,
other women in the built environment. Yeah.
yes. Uh, I'm just inviting architect Mugure,
Okay.
and I can't find her.
Oh, all right. I think she's called official Muguren Gen.
Yeah, yeah, it's not coming here. I don't know why. Maybe she can just send an invite so that I can accept it.
Mm.
Mugure, let me search again. Ah, no, she's not here. She's not here.
Try the other one.
Yeah, let me
Lana.
invite. Yes, Plana Juliet Rita. Let me invite her. Yes, I've invited her.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I hope they join.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm also looking
Guys,
forward to learning
let's
from them.
same. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm excited because
Yeah.
a lot of people who will be coming here people I look up to. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, including you.
Oh, thank you. I've
Yes.
interacted with Ure, not that much, but I've never talked to Sana Juliet. So I'm looking forward to talking to her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Oh,
just joined. I've seen her. She joined the chat. So,
yes.
yeah.
I've accepted Juliet Rita's request. She might be joining in a minute.
Okay.
Good. I actually can't find her. Let me talk to her now.
Keep private.
Maybe, but let me just try again.
Okay. Did Rita confirm?
Yeah, I've just confirmed her invite, her request. Yeah, I've just confirmed her request.
Okay, cool. Yeah. She's joining.
Okay, you guys can start asking questions.
Yeah.
Or just share with us.
Now I want to throw it to the audience. So tell us who you're celebrating today.
Yes.
Which woman you think is phenomenal and why. I've seen Ugure Njendu just joining, so she's on the chat. She's currently she's in the audience. Yeah. But anyway, guys, you can tell us anything about today, who you're celebrating and why. Why are they special in your life? Throw it in the chat, interact with us. We'd like to see. And if you have any questions to ask the panelists, even if you want to ask Brenda is the moderator. If you want to ask Brenda a question, throw it to her. She might know something we don't. She does.
Yeah.
Know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've invited all the speakers.
Okay.
We'll be ready to start in a minute. But
okay.
Welcome, Plana Juliet Rita. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can't see her from my end.
I can see her.
Oh, I can't see her. Maybe it's just loading.
I am here. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I can't see you. I can only see myself and Brenda.
Welcome. Hi, Plana Juliet Rita. How are you doing today?
I am very well. I'll connect my video in a few.
Okay.
But I'm here with you.
Okay. I've just accepted Architect Mugure's request to join us.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see her. Hi,
hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Myself, I'm good.
I'm fine.
Good. I'm sorry for joining late. This is what happens when you invite Gen X people to lives. So my apologies.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We've actually not started yet. So
Great.
yeah. Tell us who are you celebrating today and why?
Oh my, I have so many people. I think the first and foremost is my daughter. Yeah, she has taught me so many things. Then my sisters are just really, really amazing. So I keep it, I think I'll start off with those amazing women. Who are you celebrating?
Oh, actually, I'm celebrating my mother and my sisters. I have like 10 sisters. Okay, I'm
No, are
kidding.
you
I have
serious?
three.
For real?
I have 3 sisters. Yeah, and my mother. I'm celebrating them because we just make our life beautiful. Yeah, my life beautiful. So,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
so lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, as we wait for Plena Juliet Rita, I think we have a quorum. We can start.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can send in your questions actually. Yeah, we are accepting them. Ask anything. We are just here to chat and get to know each other and celebrate Women's Day. Yes. So I'll start with myself. I'm Brenda Ngoe. I'm a graduate urban designer. I also blog. I advocate for SDG 11. Yeah, that is sustainable cities and communities. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I hope you are. Yeah. So, actually, let me just plug myself. You can follow Urban Design Age to get to know myself, to get to know me better. So I'll invite architect Mugure to introduce herself. Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Brenda. So my name is Mogore Jandu. I'm an architect and urban planner. Also the immediate past president of the Architectural Association of Kenya, and was really excited to be invited to this because AAK is completely mama and baba to me. So I'm excited to be here. I'm also the founder of Built for Good Africa, a company that focuses on sustainable infrastructure and green buildings. And I'm just happy here to have this conversation about women in the built environment.
I'm actually excited to see you. This is my first time meeting you, but when you
On
enter
IG, like,
AAK's office,
no.
yeah, when you enter AAK's office, you only see 2 women presidents, you and Mamile, and it's so inspiring to see your name there. Yeah, okay.
Thank
We'll
you.
go next to Rehema Kabare. Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. My name is Rehema Kabare. I am a graduate construction manager, and I work with the Golden Arts Center, the urban division, which looks at initiatives within the urban space, so urban development initiatives like placemaking, and of course the construction of the new go down in industrial area. That's my main job. But I'm also a creative. I play my violin. I've been playing for 13 years now. So right now I'm missing a rehearsal with Nairobi Orchestra. But I think this was more interesting for me because then I get to learn from older women like Mugure, guys I've never met like Juliet. I hope I'm looking forward to this conversation, learning a lot, also from the audience and interacting with more people in the built environment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Rahel, we're excited to have you today. I'm so inspired by you actually, especially by your project, Her City project. I've seen you talk about it, and it's nice to have you today. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just ask if Planner Juliet Rita is available. You still here? Or I don't know. I can't see her.
Hi, everyone.
Oh,
Hi,
hi.
Juliet.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Yeah.
Hi, Mogore.
Hi,
Hi,
Juliet.
Rehema. Hi,
Nice to see
Brenda.
you. Hi, Rahema. I don't see you, but hi, Rahema. So exciting.
Oh, I actually can't see Juliet. So
Oh,
I have only 3 things out over here. I can't see 4 people. It's not a 4 tab
Okay.
thing. Anyway,
Okay.
I think it's an IG thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the lucky one to see the 4 of you.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
I can also see. Sorry to break it to you.
I
I'm
can
also lucky.
I can also see
Oh.
3. I can also see 3. I can't see Rahema.
Oh no. Okay, too bad. But you can hear me. So
Okay.
So I'm Planner Juliet Rita, immediate chairperson of the Town Planners chapter at AAK. I'm also a lecturer at Technical University of Kenya, and I currently run the African Network for Walking and Cycling, where we champion for safer walking and cycling infrastructure in African cities. So I'm happy to be here as a woman, first of all, and someone in the profession, in the built environment, and a past leader in AAK.
Yeah, excited to see you today. Actually, you guys, Planner Julia Shita was my lecturer. Yeah. You can imagine how I feel right now. Being here, asking you questions instead of the other way around. Anyway, we have a fourth speaker, but IG Live can only allow 3. He'll join us later on in the discussion. He's called Yasin Nyanya. He's a graduate architect. I think when he comes, he'll just introduce herself. Yeah. So we can go on. Yeah. So today we're just having a conversation about women in built environment and how one can navigate through. Yeah. You can just share your experiences and how you made it there. Me, I'm still starting, so we'll use your advice a lot. Okay. So to start, to architect Mugure Njendu, how can we better support women in leadership position in the industry, and what barriers need to be addressed to achieve this?
Okay, great. Thanks so much for that question, Brenda. And this conversation for me is so exciting because we have been grappling with the challenges around women in the construction, or what we call the built environment, and increasing those numbers of women in these corridors or on these sites over the years. So maybe just to contextualize this particular conversation, because it's always good to give it a bit of context, there was a study done, I think back in 2020 by Dahlberg and Bildher, and I believe it was IDRC, that really looked at the numbers of women in the construction industry. And it looked at numbers of contractors, numbers of quantity surveyors, numbers of engineers, numbers of architects. None of those numbers went over 20% in terms of women. I think the one that got closest was maybe 18%. In the architectural field, which I'll speak to, AAK obviously is a built environment body, so it does incorporate architects, planners, quantity surveyors. AAK as an association has a representation of 18% women as in the membership. Now, when you look at actually the percentage of practicing architects, that comes down to 12% of women are registered and who are practicing as architects in Kenya. That goes to show that there's room there's definitely a lot of room for growth. And my apologies.
Am I the only one?
Apologies about that.
Oh.
Can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's room for a lot of growth, but even as we are speaking to the numbers being low, I also do like to identify where we are doing well. Because, for example, AAK as an association has had 2 female leaders, 2 female presidents. So an association that is, say, a good only 18% of women has voted in 2 women leaders to be presidents. Right now, I believe the 2 candidates are both female, which is a whole new thing altogether. So we are making progress, and for AAK hosting this particular event, we, as an association, I feel it's very, very progressive, but there's room for growth. Now, in terms of how we can better support women in leadership positions, this is more from my personal experience. One of the things I feel that's really, really important is representation, and we're already doing that as we sit in this conversation. Juliet here, we're in leadership together. I think during our season of governing council, we almost had a full, close to 50% of women in the leadership council as well. So because of representation, then what happens then is that younger leaders are then motivated to come into leadership roles. So representation can really not be undermined. Representation matters. When you walk into a room and you see somebody who looks like you, it makes you much more comfortable to be in that room. Secondly, I think it's really enabling equality of opportunities. That is sort of really having a transparent and fair process when it comes to leadership roles. Again, this is an opportunity for me to applaud the he for she's within AAK as well. And in the built environment, because even as we talk about leadership, they have really been good male leaders who have supported and advanced that women should come into leadership within AAK and within some of the built environment circles. So that idea of really presenting rooms that are equal and are fair and transparent, so that you are elected as a leader on merit, is really, really important. I think also maybe lastly is just really to promote openness in these conversations, which is why I'm so excited that AK is having this particular conversation. Sometimes we want to avoid issues that may be uncomfortable for people, but avoiding them doesn't make them go away, and promoting sort of conversations and openness about what equality looks like and how we can better opportunities for equality and equity is really important. And then of course, even as we do so, is also to address issues around microaggressions. I'll always try to be positive in my conversations around leadership as a woman, but there are situations and rooms you find yourself in with certain microaggressions that are being you're being targeted simply because you are a woman. So it does happen. So how do we start actually addressing these issues? And then lastly, in being very intentional in terms of, for me as a leader within AK, identifying and mentoring other future leaders who can come in and join the association and follow the progress that we were in.
Thank you for that. Actually, the one thing I've taken, my takeaway point is representation. I think it's nice when walking into a room and seeing somebody who looks like you there. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The next question goes to Plana Juliet Rita. Yeah, how can we celebrate the contribution of women in the built industry and ensure that their voices are heard and valued?
Okay, thank you very much, Brenda. And I would just start by giving my own personal experience because I think we connect more when we hear from someone and what they have gone through.
Yeah.
I remember when I started my career, I started in the Ministry of Lands, and I was posted as a district physical officer. And I think, first of all, it was a new kind of era in terms of having young women taking up such positions. So before, of course, for physical planners, they used to do masters. So they were older when they were posted in the districts, and there were fewer women. Like there were just a couple of women then. So when we got there, you can imagine yourself as a district physical officer in your 20s, and you have a full office to run. And I remember just in terms of achieving simple achievements such as resolving disputes, handling a meeting with the then district commissioners, that was like a point. I would call myself what you call like a small meeting, like a small committee, and ask yourself if really you have handled the issue correctly. And also in terms of just overcoming that basic what can I call it? But that, maybe I can just give an example, because I remember one time there is an old man who came and he asked me where the officer is, mdosi ako wapi, because in his mind, I could only have been the secretary or the clerical officer or another junior officer in the office. And I remember I was asking myself, should I just tell him I'm the boss, or should I just tell him to come back tomorrow when the boss is here, or what should I tell him? But I remember eventually when he found out I was the actual officer he was to deal with, and I resolved his issue and everything was okay, then it was also a plus for me. Yeah. So my main point is, when we talk of celebration, we have to start at our own personal level, and we have to celebrate those small milestones, however small they are. Even if you've just started off your career in the built environment and you have been able to just do one thing, just start by celebrating that one thing, and also try and get other women in the built environment, because I found phenomenal women. I have my friend here, Mogore, who has been like a mentor to me. I have Emma, I have other phenomenal women in the built environment. So reach out, don't be shy, just to reach out and see what these other women know. Encourage each other and keep that connection with other women in the built environment, and see areas that maybe you don't know or you don't have strength with, and you can build that collaboration with other women as well as other professionals in the built environment, not only women. If you can benefit from a skill which your fellow professional male has, please see how you can collaborate. And also, wherever you are as a woman in the built environment or in your own space, if you can amplify the voice of one other woman, just one other woman, and create more visibility for what they are doing, I think we'll be able to support women in the profession. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Juliet. Rita. Actually, when Juliet Rita taught me, I think my major takeaway was mostly believe in yourself. I remember there's a unit called professionalism, the last unit when you're taught when you're in fourth year, ukimalizia. Then she told us, like, after we graduate, don't wait for anybody to look for you. Write, have a portfolio, write down what you can do, and reach out to people. And that's what I've been doing ever since. All the opportunities I've gotten, it's me reaching out. And thank you for continuing inspiring us. I'm one of your product. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Rehema Kabale. Okay, how can we ensure that young women are represented and included in decision-making processes in the industry? And what barriers need to be addressed to achieve this?
So this question has actually been answered in some ways, both by Mugure and Juliet. But on top of it, I'd love to say mentorship. So being able to have someone to hold your hands and talk you through literally everything, not just the technical stuff, but even the social aspects of things. Stuff like how do you dress, how do you address people, how do you interact, how do you network. It's one thing to get an opportunity, but it's another thing to hold down that opportunity and do very well at it. And for me, mentorship goes a very, very long way. My own experience is just being a WIRE member, which is Women in Real Estate, being a WIRE member, being able to reach out to ladies like Robin, talk to them for free, you don't have to pay them. And they're more than willing to mentor you. I think that's so priceless, and I think I'm very privileged, and I'll never take that for granted. So having such women who hold your hand and show you the way and teach you things one for one, literally. The other one, of course, is the representation. Seeing someone achieve something and knowing that, if they can do that, I can definitely do it. Then the other one is being daring. we have this mindset. I think it's a lady mindset where I don't have to do something, or I'm not willing, we're scared. And it's one of the things we're exploring in her city. And it's just a concept where men and boys do not take up space the way women and girls do. And that's public space, that's spaces in boardrooms, spaces in corporate spaces. It's generally any space. Women and men do not take up spaces the same way. And there's this daring mentality, and I would say self-confidence. Go out there, believe in yourself, go out and do whatever. Know that you can do it. If someone else can do it, why can't you do it better? And that does not mean that you become aggressive and very mean to people, but just know that you believe in yourself and it will take you places. But of course, there are barriers that myself I've gone through. I mean, I've been in the industry as a professional since I graduated in 2021, so it's not too long. But I remember my first job, which was on site. I was working with a contractor, and anyone coming on site, whether they were just selling merchandise or looking to get their next customer or client, they would come and ask, even the client himself, they'll come and ask, wapi mkubwa? Like, mi ndio mkubwa. You get your helmet and your safety boots. Mi ndio mkubwa, boss. Like, wapi mkubwa? And you've got to explain to this person that you are actually the person they need to talk to and refer to literally every issue. That for me didn't sit well with me until I learned you've got to suck it up and you've got to move on. So some things you just have to know how to address these issues. Again, I reached out to my mentors, something like negotiating my payment in different things. You reach out to different people. A lady called Lucy Njogu on Wire, quite nice. She did the course I did, and I look up to her in so many ways. And I just reach out to her and I'm asking, so how do I go about it? I have no idea how to do it. I've never done it. And the thing is, people do not care out here. They really don't care. They will play you, and it's not their problem. It's up to you. So if you don't know and you don't know how to do it, approach an older person, and they're gonna lead you properly. But also get people who, like are role models, not just anyone. And then I would say mindset, it's us as human beings, even us in the built environment, it's changing our mindset. One time I was talking to a friend and I was telling her, I think I had posted on my stories or status or something, the way, once again, out of almost 15 people on site, we are only 2 women as professionals. And I'm like, it happens, it keeps happening. I keep posting that. And the person was like, just another fellow lady, we did the same course. And she's like, you should get used to it. Like, get used to it. By now, you should have gotten used to it. But then I went home thinking, why should I get used to it? Fine, it's what has been happening, but what can we do different? We keep complaining that we are being profiled as women in the built environment, but what am I as my own professional in the built environment doing about it? So it's up to us to change our mindsets and to start thinking differently, being innovative with the solutions that you come up with. Will go a long way in, even just someone coming in the field 10 years later. I mean, much has been done. I just don't think it's enough. We are called upon to do a lot more. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. I've actually been inspired. You should believe in yourself. Vile tu umesema, mindset plays a key role in what we do. And if we have a mindset shift as women, we can go places. Yeah. So for a bit of fun, I've researched some fun questions. I hope you guys are ready about women in the society, in the world in general. So hopefully you guys are ready to answer some fun questions.
Is there a prize?
Okay.
Is there a prize?
Oh, actually, we'll have some bragging rights. That's all. Yeah, prepare yourself. So the first question is, who among these women has never vied for presidency in Kenya? 1, Charity Ngilu. 2, Martha Karua. 3, Wangari Maathai. 4, Anne Waiguru.
3.
Can I say Madai?
3.
Yeah. Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Plan Juliet Rita?
I'm not sure, but I think Mother has not vied for presidency. No, not
If I
Mother.
didn't mention
Waiguru. Waiguru.
you have Googled. Have you Googled?
No.
Actually, it's when my
Only
guru.
thing I have is a pen on my hand.
Was it my
Oh,
guru? Yes, it was.
Yes,
I know
yes.
Waiguru has
Oh,
vied for presidency.
right.
Yes, she has
when
never
did
vied.
When did she vie for
yeah.
presidency?
Uh,
Anne Waiguru.
actually, and my guru has never vied.
Me, I went
Yeah,
for
I
the
said Waiguru
non-politician,
has not
clearly.
vied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next question. Yeah. Which year did Wangari Maathai win the Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh. All I remember, I was a kid and I saw a newspaper with balloons from Kenya.
Me, that one I've bowed out. And right, I was not a kid.
That day, I just remember seeing on the Gazette where the map of Africa and there are balloons on Kenya and telling my parents, look, we have balloons. And now I'm being explained for Wangari Maathai. I don't know which year that was. I have no idea.
Okay, should we share the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2004.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the third question is, she was the first African woman to participate in Safari Rally. Her headgears were as vibrant.
Panduri.
Giving us a chance. Nice.
Well,
There's actually a Twitter thread today celebrating her. So if you're on Twitter so much, I think that's yes. Okay, so for our second set of questions, the second one goes to architect Mugure Njendo. How can we encourage more young women to pursue careers in built industry, and what can we do to provide them with the support they need to succeed?
Thanks, Brenda. So I don't know if I could just respond to something that Rehema said that has stuck in my head. Rehema, you talked about daring to be brave, which is just amazing. And then I feel like the next session should be titled something that you said, Mindio Mukubwa. That should be the topic of the next conversation we have. Mindio Mkubwa, what she was saying when she was on the site. So just to sort of take up your space. So I really enjoy seeing young women who have taken up their space, and even, to be very honest, young ladies like Rehema and also some of the mentees I've been associated with. I almost feel it's an unequal and an unfair arrangement, because I learn more from you guys than you learn from me sometimes. So that's a really, really wonderful thing. So maybe back to the question, Brenda, that you asked. I think it comes back down to that conversation, that the same word that we keep on using, which is representation, in terms of how do we encourage more young women to pursue careers in the built environment, because really it is just about representation per se. But besides that is also the mentorship element that Rehema spoke about. It actually is necessary to be sort of intentional about about mentoring and being mentored. I have been mentored, and I've also been a mentor. And honestly, what I have just said is very, very true. I think sometimes I learn more from my mentees, and it's amazing even watching some of them become leaders. Brenda Nyawara, I think, is somewhere on this live, and she was in my first cohort of mentees, which through Wire again. Join Wire if you haven't joined Wire and you're a woman in the industry. And then, of course, some of the more practical things around women in the built environment, because we see in education, in university, and correct me, Brenda and Rehema, if I'm wrong, in the lecture rooms, there are more women. But then when we come out to the industry, to actual practicing, we somehow lose a certain percentage of women in the built environment who don't come out to practice. And I think that conversation is really, really important for all of us to have. And it comes down to really sort of quite practical things, whether it's, for example, if you're a young woman and you'd like to have a family, it means then you need to be able to have hours where you spend time raising children, being in that space of where you almost, your career almost takes a step back because of the hands-on sort of parenting that mothers tend to do. And these are factual things that are part of our society. So in terms, there's also, we need to hold accountable both public and private sector, that we need to be more intentional about creating structures and systems that allow young women and women coming up in their careers to thrive. And that comes down to even simple things like an agile workforce, sort of agility in the workforce. I don't think that there's any reason in today's day and age post-COVID why, as employers, as companies out there, whether it's public or private sector or whether it's academia, we should not be able to be agile and accommodating to women to be able to succeed within the other things that are happening in their lives, which are part of growth, whether personal or professional. So I think that would really, for me, be the call, is that as women, we do tend to balance a lot. I remember launching a project, and let's be open, let's be real today. I remember launching a project when my daughter was about 4 months old, and in the middle of it, running to find a washroom to pump because I was breastfeeding her. And those are the things, and because there were no breastfeeding facilities, you go into a public washroom somewhere, and I mean, those are the things we deal with as women that are very unique in terms of our own experiences. So it's a challenge to anybody who's in the space of running an organization or making decisions around how that organization is run, to understand the needs of women to be able to thrive in the workforce and to enable that. And there's really, the case is there to be made that companies do better when you have women in leadership and women in executive teams and employed as part of your company. Research has shown that any team that has women engaged in them, and a large percentage of women, and matching the percentage of men, they tend to outperform other companies by more than 30%. So if you want a business case, that is the business case, besides the more social case of just being more accommodating. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I just want to recognize Yasin Munyanya. He has just joined us. Maybe he can introduce himself. I'm confusing. Okay, welcome, Yasin.
First of all, big up to AK for organizing this noble initiative. I go by the name Yasin Munyanya. I'm a graduate architect, and wow, how do I start? But it's not about me today. I'm a graduate architect from the University of Nairobi. I was the former ASA president at the University of Nairobi. But on top of that, I was also the representative of all architecture students in the country at the AK Council. Yeah, thank you.
You can tell us who are you celebrating today and why?
Well, I think it would go without saying, first of all, my mother for bringing me into this world. And I mean, without ladies, where would we be, first of all? Secondly, my sister. And thirdly, I would say the built industry not being a very forgiving industry, even for women. I mean, it's a very unforgiving industry. So all the women in the built industry, by extension, I celebrate all of you for just being courageous enough. Anyone in this industry is actually very bold. So for the ladies in this industry, I had Rehema talk about Mindo Mkubwa. So yeah, the ladies in the built industry as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. The second question to plan literature is, how can we better support young women entering the industry, and what mentorship or networking opportunities do you think would be most effective?
Thank you, Brenda. And once again, my starting point will be on the nature of women, because when women look at networking is different from the way men look at networking. Networking in itself is a transactional kind of a relationship, because you're reaching out to someone and you're creating that network for a specific purpose. And the way women we are wired, it kind of feel like you're being insensitive and manipulative to some extent when you think of networking. And therefore, my starting point would be, as women, first of all, we need to unpack the whole issue of networking and put our perception in terms of the negativity that is attached to when you talk of networking in that aspect. So we have to look at it as an issue that is not insensitive, it's not manipulative, it is not something that is a reserve of people who are more outgoing or the extroverts. It can be something that you can also explore if you're an introvert in yourself in terms of your personality. That said, because also in terms of our nature, as Architect Mugure mentioned, we multitask, and most of our time is limited in terms of even social time that we have to create and set aside for networking. Yeah, so you'll find in most cases, especially at the beginning of your career as a young woman, you'll be rushing home and you'll not be like hanging around to create those sort of network. So then you have to be very intentional and map out exactly who you want to reach out, so that whenever you have that minimum time, it is very targeted and you're targeting the kind of connections that you're going to make. Yeah, because we are not privileged, and we have to accept, especially that phase where you're starting off your career, you're starting off your family, you're figuring out even what marriage is, what motherhood is, all those things. You still have to balance and still create time for networking. Then you also have to map out the source of resources that you need to advance in your career. And that means you have to start by asking yourself where you want to go in terms of your career. What is the direction you want to take? And what sort of resources then do you need to achieve what you want to achieve in that path? Therefore, you're more or less, again, narrowing out your kind of network and people you need to reach and how you need to reach out, and more or less saving that small time and effort that you need to create your network. Yeah. Then you, by yourself, you have to be authentic. By the end of the day, we are women, we are feminine, we do networking differently. So don't try to be like so and so. If you communicate your style of communication, your style of creating networks, just perfect who you are and what works for you. Don't try to be outgoing and very talkative if you're not a very talkative person. Yeah, you'll still be able to create your own network in your own authentic way. So do it your way, do it your style. Yeah, do what works for you. Lastly, understand. And this is very hard for women. Understand some sort of networks are transitional. They're there for a season. They'll help you reach a point, and then you create other networks. You'll have to let go of some people. You'll have to let go of some networks and start developing new ones. Yeah. So just as a woman, it is okay to let go. It is okay to accept there are those networks that are transitional in nature, and you have to leverage on what is going to push you ahead into the next steps. Yeah. So that's on, those are my key points in terms of basically how we can improve on networking, especially as young women starting off in our career.
Thank you so much for that. My first question to Yasin is, what role can men play in promoting gender equality in the industry, and how can we engage more men in this effort? Am I the only one who can't hear Yasin? Or...
Oh, sorry. So first of all, even before men are brought on board, I believe leadership or even just taking up your space is something that should naturally be intrinsic, should come from within. As architect Mugure said earlier on today, of course it helps having someone else in the room before you. It gives you the confidence to even just know that if so and so was there before me, why not? Why can't I as well? So I believe naturally men also have a responsibility to play, because it's an industry that has been dominated by men before, like for years and years. So we naturally have the responsibility in that, number one, we should first of all just acknowledge that there is a gap in between the opportunities offered to men and women. And even when there is no gap, you find even in a simple office setting, well, I wouldn't really go for equality. I'd rather go for equity. In that, you'd find, let's say I'm working at a particular office, and there's a lady who's working. We are both employees at an office, but you find maybe the lady gets pregnant. When it comes to something like maternity, for example, paternity care and maternity care can never be given the same weight. But I believe a lady should never be penalized, or rather be given a lower salary just because she's a lady, or just because, she could get pregnant. First of all, everything should be streamlined in such a way that things are actually level. It's a level playing field that actually enables both men and women to have an opportunity to strive. On top of that, I believe policy is very important. Other guys who are not so developed in the industry to also come up. Policy should also be there just to ensure that even those who do not feel like should actually be compelled to, And by policy, I look at it in two ways. Number one, the simple way of just having it as a law that this should actually happen. Like, you should actually have ladies on 30%. I mean, the lower gender should actually, the least represented gender should not be less than 30%. But instead of punishing
Am I the only one who can't hear Yasin?
No, I think his network is having an issue. So
Yeah. Okay. Um, Yasin, I think you're having network issues. I think you're having network issues. We can't get you.
yeah,
What you're saying.
I think we have lost him.
Yeah, we lost him. Yeah, we've lost him. Okay. Time for another fun question. Hi, Juliet Rita, you can come for the fun question. Yes. Yeah, which Kenyan woman founded the only women's bank in Africa?
I have no answers.
Honestly, I don't
Are
think
you
you
going to
this
give me a participation certificate? Those participation certificates.
But I know it's the Kenya Women's Bank.
Kenya Women's
if I
Finance
get
Trust,
it.
or
Yeah, KWFT. But I don't know the name of the lady. I can't remember the name.
Okay, she's called Elizabeth Mary Okello. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, another question is
No, tupatie ABCD, tupatie choices.
nitawapatia. Hii inakaa rahisi.
hata
Honestly, ni rahisi.
sisi wanapeana siku hizi.
Okay. Who was the first female TV news anchor in Kenya? This is easy. 1, Kathleen Openda. 2, Sophie Kenye. 3, Nancy Kashugira. And 4, Catherine Kasavuli.
Kasavuni?
Kasavuli. Yes.
Yes. Inakaa rahisi. Okay, I think I've asked all the questions. I'd like you to answer. These are personal questions because I'm asking this a personal question. Haikuwa kwa brief yenye nilipewa. Niulize. So I'm just asking you guys like to share your experience. I have a lot of friends who are job hunting, and maybe you guys can tell us how you got your first job. Like what did you do? Yeah, I think they'll be interested to know like what step unaweza ambia nini mtu mwenye amegraduate to maybe last year ama ndio amegraduate juzi. Yeah.
So maybe I can start. So I went to school in the US, and my first job was in a company that was not an architecture company. It was actually a construction company that focused on building decks. Now, you know, in that day and time, one, I was female, obviously, but also Black. As you're out there looking for work, whether it's sending emails or making phone calls, and then of course there's the nice Kenyan accent. So there are a lot of things working against you. For me, that first particular job, I actually ended up focusing on the small town that I lived in, and actually going door to door. And the person who employed me was a fellow immigrant, was somebody from Brazil. So I don't know if that helps, but it does help in sort of finding something common with your employer, your prospective employer. So our commonality was we're both people who are not from the country, and I think that he felt sorry for me and gave me work.
Wow, that's interesting. But at least unaweza ku have that experience, your first experience. Yes, Rachel, you can share your experience.
So mine is sort of, it's not like, I can't say like it was the very first job. I can say it started as a journey for me because first of all, I took myself to university, like literally I took myself to university. So I started off working as a secretary to earn money, as we had to stay 2 years before joining the public university. So I worked as a secretary, I worked as a receptionist, and then I worked as an attendant in a boarding center. So I had to earn money to buy necessities to take myself to university. All through university, then I continued with my skills, because then as a secretary, I could type very fast. It was the era of using the DOS. So we had the floppy disks, and I had to run typing, and it was all self-taught, yeah? So what I did was, when I got to campus, I befriended a few of my lecturers, and I would type out reports for them. There was one who was pursuing their PhD, so I would type out their PhD thesis, because, as I said, I was very, very fast. I self-taught myself how to code and use SPSS, which was being used then for analyzing questionnaires and data connection and all those. So then, by the time I was in third year, I was actually being sought after. I was not looking for work. So by the time I cleared fourth year, I was already working. I was already working, and I was working for 2 companies. So that's, I cannot say that this is particularly like my very, very first job. What I can say is, out of necessity, then I really had to teach myself a lot of skills. I had to really build on my networks in terms of getting people and getting them to know what I can do and what I can achieve. I also volunteered a lot. So my journey at AAK actually started in first year in campus. And I would volunteer at all the conventions right from first year. So again, people knew me, like people knew like a small girl who was always in all the conventions running around, yeah? So I think when I encounter young people telling me they are not, they don't have somewhere, then first of all, I ask them, what have you been doing? How are you even volunteering? How are you reaching out? How are you giving your time? Because instead of just sitting down with your TikTok and something, why not learn a skill online and volunteer and give out your time for free? Because if you can give out 2 hours of your time for free, trust you me, somebody will notice you. Trust you me, within a short time, people will be looking for you. You will not be looking for work.
Wow.
So that's my journey.
Wow. So my major takeaway is, people, 1, should volunteer. 2, you should be aggressive. Like, start right away from maybe university or anywhere. Learn a skill and volunteer. Do free work. It won't cost you anything. You'll still gain skills and you'll gain experience. Yeah. Okay, you guys have been asking a lot of questions. You guys can ask me maybe one question or anything, or maybe want to get to know me. Anything. Yeah.
Maybe I can ask what your journey has been so far as a woman in the built environment, as a young woman in the built environment, Brenda.
Interesting. So, let me. I'll give a brief overview. Kiasitu, just before I joined high school, my journey is a small living. I'm still on the way. So I didn't know what urban design or urban planning is. I didn't actually. But one thing I knew is I wanted to be a woman in construction. Nilikuwa nataka kuwa demo wa mjengo. So results came. I wanted to do architecture. I didn't qualify. Something closer was urban design. So first year, I did my first. I joined. Did my first year. I didn't understand what I was doing. Second year, I actually didn't understand what I was doing. Third year, during COVID, unacheki vile unaambiwanga ati unapewa notes alafu unaenda kurevise baadaye. So mimi, I went back to my notes 2020. Then I started reading, hivyo nikakuwa passionate about it. So I started writing about it. Nikaona ni something, urban design is something everyone should know about. Mbona ni watu wachache? Mbona urban planning watu wachache wanajua? So I started blogging about it. Writing with time. I gained courage, ndio nikaanza ku reach out to people. Hi, I can write, So I started writing for people. Actually, I'm on full-time freelancing because I build my networks mapema on freelancing. So I've been freelance writing for such a long time. Right now, yes, I'm looking for a job, but it's not a necessity. Like, it's not a must I have a job. I have something bringing me income as I do other things. So after I graduated, I worked at AK for some 3 months. I gained some experience. I got to know people, and I've also interacted with a lot of people in Wire. So I've been on mentorship program, and I'm still there. I hope I be like you guys. You inspire me a lot. Yeah, that's my journey so far.
Brenda, can I ask a last question? Your journey is so interesting. What do you think is the biggest challenge right now for you as a young woman in the industry? And I'm just asking because it's an intergenerational conversation, and maybe the challenges that Juliet and I witnessed some years ago may not be the same as the ones you are witnessing now.
Actually, the first challenge is maybe when asking for an opportunity first, maybe you have to be selective who you are going to. I prefer I don't know if it's right to say this. I prefer working with more women than male, because I don't know if you're giving me this opportunity for something else, or am I just doing work. That is my first challenge, like knowing the difference. Yeah. Second, I think the industry now requires a lot of IT skills. Like you have to be good. For us, you have to be good with GIS to get employed, and yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
It's a beautiful journey. Keep on with it.
Thank you. Yes. Do you have questions for me, Plan Juliet Richard?
I am hesitant to ask you as your former lecturer, but I think Mogare has already asked some of the questions I wanted to ask. And I think what you brought out is my 2 points from what you brought out is first, and something I forgot to mention in terms of networking is the role professional associations play.
Yeah.
It offers you first a safe haven to start off, because more or less people are there connected for a purpose, and it's easy to also see and get a lot of mentors. And when we talk of mentors, sometimes your mentors don't have to be people you talk to. They have to be people you just look up to and follow them, what they're doing and all those kind of things. And in a way you learn, yeah? So for all the young people out there, please make sure you join a professional association. It is a starting point in terms of developing your professional career. I think the second other thing, which we kind of avoid in all our conversation, is still the issue of those sexual favors. I think it's something that we always shy away from speaking, and it is still there. It was still there in our time when we were starting off our career, and it's still there. Now it's even worse, because I think people are no longer shy when they're asking for these favors. Like, it's not like before when they would really take their time and anakutongoza kidogo kidogo. Nowadays it's put on the table, you know. So I think I don't even know how young women now are handling it. So my heart goes out to them, and I hope that people don't fall into those cheap tricks, because by the end of the day, from a woman to another woman, men also talk. And if you give in the professional space, we are not many of us, so they'll go talking about that cheap person, and trust you me, you will not advance and you will not progress in your career. So keep away. Find a way of just working out. Honestly, be patient and just work your way around into the career path.
Maybe if I can also chime into that particular conversation, besides what Juliet has mentioned, which is quite a big issue in not just in our industry but across the board. There's also the element of for us women, whether we like it or not, we're held to a different standard. And maybe just speaking from my personal experience, for me, I ran for AK president as a competitive election against another candidate, and sometimes elections and these processes can also get quite dirty, and you've seen it with women politicians that for women, personal things are always dragged out and are pulled into and even stories made up about you. I feel like Rehema has made a statement that really spoke to me, which is just be yourself. And I think also Juliet spoke to authenticity. Don't do anything that is not true to yourself, and within those spaces, no matter what is happening, how you may be targeted because you're a woman, just be authentic and be true to yourself. And I feel like that is really sort of the authenticity, living your life as by for who you are, and standing by that is really, really important, because these things, we'd like to say it has changed since we started our careers some 15 years ago or so, but to be honest, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brenda, I don't really think things have changed. We hope for the best and we work within the constraints of where we are.
It was a mind-blowing conversation to have you two here. I've gained so much insight having you here. So I've asked a lot of questions, but I'm not that experienced. But what I'll advise any young person out there, join an association, honestly. K and Wire, okay, I don't have all the opportunities, but my first opportunities imetoka kwa this association. Join AK, join Wire, be there. You'll be mentored, especially Wire has a mentorship program. Be part of it.
AK
okay,
you also has a mentorship program, by the way.
Yes, it does.
I've never been part of any. Actually, I joined the AK earlier 2022. So I've not been part of any mentorship program. So I am looking forward to be part, and maybe having one of you as my mentors. I've been inspired by this conversation. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. You've been a very nice audience. We have one question. Actually, it's not a question. Somebody just saying she had fun. Yes. And people were actually sending in comments on who they're celebrating. Yeah. We'll post this chat actually on our feed so that
you have a question, Brenda. You have a question. There's someone asking, where do you get your articles?
Articles, yes.
Where do you get your material for blogging?
No, I think the question is where can we read your articles?
Where do we get your articles?
Yes, because I also want to read your articles.
I've not seen that question, but I'll answer. I run a page called, you can follow me on my personal account, brenda.ngoya, but I also run a blog account called Urban Designage. I post all my content there. You guys can read and interact. I actually don't write officially. Vile naongea hivi, it's how I write. Like I want to get to like mtu mwenye elewi urban planning ni nini. I want to relate to people. That's why I write in a simple language so that people can understand. Yeah. Do we have any other question? I don't see. I don't see.
No, I don't see any other. I think just in connection to what you've said, Brenda, I think most of the time our young people get lost waiting to perfect something instead of just starting. So usually if you hold back and you wait to perfect on your imperfections or to perfect your skill, you'll never learn.
True.
And I remember the very first time I presented a paper in a conference, I was so shaky, like I was really like shaking. My voice was not even audible, so they kept checking whether the microphone is working or not. But either way, I maneuvered around, and the next time I was better. So if you think you have a skill, if you think you can do something, just start with all your imperfections. with all your inexperience, just start and learn along the way. There's no perfect time for starting, just start.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Niko hiyo stage ya Juliet bado, so I'm still learning. I want to do advocacy, so this is a good opportunity. I want to personally thank AK for this opportunity and for this platform to moderate this session today. If you don't know what AK is, you can at least talk us. We do a lot of things, a lot. If you are new here, AK is an umbrella body for built environment professions. Please join us. We are fun association. Honestly, ukikuja hapa, I'll talk to you. Personally, nitafute. I'll be your first friend at AK. Yeah, come. Anyway, it was nice having you. I think we are past our time, around 14 minutes. And okay, adios. Bye to you guys.
Thank you,
See you
Brenda.
again. Thank you so
See you, Juliet.
much. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
see you. Bye.